Welcome to the service clinic at Low Country Harley-Davidson. I'm Doc Harley. Today I'm in the employee lunchroom. I thought I'd catch up on a little reading. Well, I thought I'd be reading my Kindle, but I guess I was a naughty instead of a nice and didn't get it for Christmas. So I brought something else to read. It's a great novel. It's called Ode Tire by Dunn E. Lobb. It's got a gripping story, but a little bit of a hole in the middle of the plot. Some of you might have a few of these books in your garage, and so I'd like to teach you how to read this novel so you get the full story. Let's start with the main numbers. All right, most of you know a 180, 60, 17. 180 is the millimeter diameter between one side of the tread to the other side, a straight line, okay? The next number is a little more difficult to understand. It's the ratio aspect of the height to the width. Let's put it in a little simple way. The bigger the number, the taller the tire. Okay, that's how I get through it. And then the last number, 17, has to do with what rim it fits. You can't get around it. It only fits a 17-inch rim. Now, there are other little stories in this tire. Let's go to V over here. That's how fast you can go on this tire safely with a full load. V, they have different ratings at different letters, and we can get into more depth if you'd like to know, but V is the usual one, up to 149 miles an hour with a full load on the tire at the correct, proper PSI. And we should get into that, the PSI. Let me rotate a few pages. On your tire, there is a load, max load. It tells you how much this tire can hold with the weight of the vehicle and passengers and luggage and everything else. And it can hold that load at a maximum PSI. Now, a lot of people get confused about this. There is a PSI. This one is 42 PSI. That does not mean you run this tire at 42 PSI all the time. It just means at the maximum load, you have to have 42 PSI. And that is the maximum that this tire can be inflated. Anything over 42, you're really putting your life in jeopardy. Check your service manuals and your owner's manuals for the correct pressure it should be at while you're riding it daily. Let's continue on to another part in the story. Well, here's a little one that's very rare, but it's tubeless. That means this tire is made to be on a tubeless rim. Okay, now turn the pages a little bit. There's an arrow. All right, that means that this tire was meant to rotate in a certain direction for two reasons. One, the manufacturer has designed the grooves in the tire to maximize the traction, also to get water out as soon as possible when you're riding in the rain. Also, the manufacturer starts with a long piece of rubber, then brings them together and molds them together. Now, the way the tire is made, it has to go in a certain direction for that seal to stay right. If you put it on backwards, it's trying to peel itself apart. So the direction is very important on which way the tire goes, and you will notice that the direction of the tire and the pattern is different from the front tire and the rear tire. Here's a new part in the chapter of this story that Low Country Harley-Davidson Service Clinic is making aware to customers out there. It is the manufacture date. It's on all motorcycle tires and car tires, to be fact. It's a raised area and it has 4 numbers. The first 2 numbers, this one, I believe 02, is the number week in the year that it was manufactured. The second 2 numbers is the year. So this was manufactured the second week in 2010. At Low Country Harley-Davidson Service Clinic, we're making aware to customers it's our belief that a tire is at its strongest for 6 years. After that, decomposition of the air and the pollution and the sun and all that kind of stuff really takes away the capacity and the capabilities of the tire. So take a look at your tires and also be aware that's how a lot of tires are sold on the internet. If you see a tire that's normally about $200 and they're selling it for $80, 10 to 1 odds is you'll receive it and the date code will be way past 6 years. Just something to be aware of. Last thing I'd like to bring to your attention on this story is a little side note. It's a triangle or a TWI, a tread wear indicator. This is where you follow to the middle of the tire and see how your tread is wearing. If it is below 2/32, or even with your tire, it's time to get a new tire. But this tells you, this is where the manufacturers put these wear indicators, so it lets you know how soon you need to do your tires. Well, quite a story. A little bit of round, a little bit of hole in the plot, but very gripping. Take a look at your books, or your tires, should I say, in your garage and do a little reading. And next time, you'll have a story to tell. I'm Doc Harley. We'll see you next week.